May I come in, sir?
Please come in. VAIBHAV.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please sit down.
Thanks.
So, VAIBHAV, you are BTech from Delhi Technical University,
Yes.
Technological University, right? And you passed out your BTech in 2020.
Yes, sir.
That was in mathematics and computing.
Yes.
Thereafter, you worked as a technical analyst in Citycom
Yes, sir.
for almost 2 years.
Yes.
That you left in 22, and what are you doing thereafter?
So after leaving in 22, I prepared for the Civil Services exam 2023, through which I got into the Indian Revenue Service, Customs and Indirect Taxes. And this year, I have joined the service, and post that I am on EOL at present, and I'm again given this exam. The interview.
So that happened in 23. What happened in 24 then? Did you appear in 24 also?
Yes, sir. This is the attempt for 24, which I had appeared and joined the service in December 2024.
All right. Very good, very good. So you are on leave now?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what was your role as a technical analyst?
So as the technical analyst, we were primarily doing the role of a software development engineer in Citycorp, wherein in 2 years, in the first year, I worked in the big data team. It was more data engineering, where we build the pipelines for data coming in.
Can you give me what exactly was the project and what were the outcomes of that particular project? And what was your role in that?
Yes, sir. So, sir, my role, firstly, I'm telling, it was a data engineering project. So when data came in end of day, our role was to, the pipelines of data were built. My role was to build visualizations that have to be mailed every day to the different teams, and along with that, a daily report that whatever data has come in, are there any errors in that data? All those, for that, the analysis on the big data had to be done. So for that, I had created.
So what was the value addition being done by you on that data? Or it was only you look into the data and then you transmit it to the concerned team?
So mostly it was more like error analysis on the data was being done by the work.
And how are they using this data?
So sir, every day, every week there was meetings, and if there were more errors in any form of data, that was being used to the other teams to let them know that some issues on their end are happening. It occurred only once in my 1 year.
So Vaibhav, tell us that though we call ourselves to be the world leader in information technology, but we are doing only a very low end kind of a job, outsourcing kind of a thing, or a body shopping kind of thing. Why have we not been able to create a software of great significance for the entire world? Our own people, when they go abroad, they do wonderfully well in developing new software. But within the country, we don't do that. Why? None of these organizations like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, they are into only outsourcing kind of a model.
So,
Why?
So sir, firstly, when the IT services came in India, it was developed like these companies, TCS, Tech Mahindra, they were focusing on the low end part of services. So that's why these companies over time had relied on that work primarily. However, sir, when engineers got better at their work, they quickly took the route of traveling to other countries like USA. That has, sir, obviously, that has persisted still now. A lot of companies are still in that low-end segment, but new companies rose around the 2008-9. Like we had Zoho, which has developed its own SaaS framework, which is utilized everywhere. Now, sir, companies like Blinkit, which have cracked the quick commerce market, not done anywhere properly. So these companies have Indianized their technological development and are bringing some new developments in this field. And I think in the next decade, we'll see technical progress coming in from the nation.
Very good. And what do you think would be the impact of artificial intelligence on our IT industry?
So the impact of artificial intelligence, first for those roles which are on the lower end of services, for example, those I think a lot of work for call centers will be through AI, which will less human intervention. There will be job losses.
So most of these call centers would come to close.
So not most, but a less number of people who have better understanding, or they will only survive in that industry also over time. For example, sir, someone working in American Express.
I understand that what you are saying, that since AI can take over the manual work,
Yes, sir.
so you don't require many people.
Hmm.
India had strength only in number of people, isn't it? Because we had large number of such people who could man these call centers.
Yes, sir.
But that won't be required. So whole lot of our people will become unemployed.
Sir, but the type of roles will definitely change. Now we will have people who will be just QA testing these AI systems, like automation testing, like are these AI systems working properly? So some kind of more skilled labor will increase, but the type of jobs which are lower in the segment will definitely go out.
All right. Okay. Very good. So Vaibhav, tell me why the manufacturing has not picked up in this country. What is your assessment?
So the pickup of manufacturing has not happened over time because firstly there were issues in the supply side, like we have land procurement is a challenge. Then the labor laws have been a issue for the international companies to come in. Then IPR regulations of our country. These are the supply side issues.
So let's take these three, or let's take first two. One, you said the procurement of land. So what are the issues and what can we do to address that issue?
So firstly, the issues are our land records fragmentation is at a very high level in India of land. That means procurement becomes hard in any case. Then, sir, the digitization and of land records hasn't occurred over time. Along with that, there is so the challenge that different areas, because these are under state laws, have different laws. For example, in Jharkhand, due to CNTS-PT Act, a lot of land cannot be procured, although there is opportunity. And so the solutions lie primarily in, sir, bringing together the different land records across the state from different departments. So there's homogeneous.
No, I couldn't get it. You said different land records. Land record is one and the same.
I'm sorry, sir, not different land, like the different data which are stored, like at the person who's working at the circle officer. That land record which is not digitized, that has to be.
Today, most of the states in India, they are digital land records. Most of the states. Even Jharkhand.
So the land maps are being digitized, but the land records haven't been digitized.
Rather, land records have been digitized, by the way.
Most of.
Yes, I'm sorry. I've like.
But उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
Go on the website. If there is land in your name, all the land will come out.
Sitting in New York,
Anywhere.
Yes.
you can download your Khasara and Khatani. That means land records. So that's not an issue at all.
So, but the change in like the land, like the mutation records over time, that is not digitized. That also creates.
Mutation is a little different issue. Mutation is when you are selling or buying land. Thereafter, the new buyer or the seller has to be entered into record. The details.
Yes, sir.
That also takes about a month or so, and it's a very automatic kind of a process now.
Online application.
Okay, sir.
It's become much easier.
You see, when you say land procurement, it is basically acquisition of land under Land Acquisition Act. That has become a little messy and it's a long drawn kind of process and an expensive process. But however, you can make use of Land Acquisition Act and you can procure land. That's not a big deal.
So, but like the land acquisition, because of its challenges, like people have to be displaced, that creates a challenge because there is not proper rehabilitation. So people are against
Tell me then how many, so many express roads are being constructed. They must be acquiring land.
Yes, sir.
So how are they acquiring?
There is a separate provision.
Law.
In
I know.
the Act.
I know that. But even for infrastructure or this kind of thing, you can acquire land under Land Acquisition Act. The only thing is that you have to pay the market rate of the compensation.
Yes,
So we should be willing. What is there?
So one is that issue like, I'm not completely recalling the right provision, that 75% of the farmers have to agree for a land acquisition.
That is, you must be
Yes,
very
it's
clear
not.
in that. It is like this. Through negotiation, you can acquire land. And if you happen to acquire more than 75% of land through negotiation, the balance land can be acquired under Land Acquisition Act, which is a little coercive kind of an act. That's our provision. But through negotiation आप खरीद सकते हैं, लेकिन क्या करते हैं, we do not honor our commitment. Suppose we say that okay, we'll give a plot, additional plot. We do not honor. Or honor we करते हैं after 3, 4, 5, 10 years time. All right. Second question you said about the labor.
Yes.
So what is the issue in labor? Why the you said multinationals are little unwilling to come to India because of the labor issue. What are those labor issues?
Sir, the labor issues are primarily, one is the issue with formation of unions. Like corporates are, they don't want the union size, because if 10 members come in, a union can be formed. So they are against that provision, that a larger if size.
Do you think that is not happening in other countries? You go to France, Germany and elsewhere.
So that
it's a right to form unions.
So yes, sir, it is there, but corporates are a little hesitant because a lot of unions end up getting formed here because of the small size of 10. They want it to increase over time. And then, sir, the issue of there's a provision for labor per unit floor area. So that also creates...
Labor per unit floor area, what does that mean?
So for a particular area or size, a particular number of labor can only be there. And there's due to which what happens is that they cannot increase the labor in the like a person.
Are you sure? I have a safety labor, Government of India.
So workers per unit area, if I am correct.
No, it is only
Which law?
इस कमरे में अगर 10 ही लोग आ सकते हैं तो आप 15 लोग तो नहीं डाल सकते हो ना. That is for the safety and the security of people, na.
So it is, but a lot of companies want to increase like the floors, like number of floors over time, though that creates
who says that is not possible? And which labor law is prohibiting that?
So it is the different state laws.
Right. My last question, Vaibhav.
Factories have something.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that menstrual leave should be granted mandatorily to women workers? Mandatorily means it's a mandate. The option is available with a women worker, whether to avail that facility or not. Do you think it's a good idea?
So the granting of menstrual leave shouldn't be mandatory.
Why?
Because when it is mandatory, it may lead to like gender stigmatization of issue.
Where is the stigma? Maybe in good old days time, it used to be a stigma, but not now.
So it is a stigma, not in the sense that they have their periods, but it is a stigma like if in a corporate setup, someone is going for a menstrual leave, the other employees may be against that, they may be wrongly using that provision.
How?
A sentiment may be there.
How? Give me an example.
So for example, in Japan, they have mandatory menstrual leaves, but less than 1% of the female.
Why? Because they want to come. They feel it better to be part of the crowd. They would like to meet their friends and colleagues rather than sitting at home. So as long as they can bear it, they'll come to the workplace. And that's why it is a good idea to make it mandatory so that the option is available to the lady. She may or she may not come. सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान उनको वही होता है घर में बैठ के.
Yes, sir.
If they are sitting at home, they'll be asked by the parents or by the children or by the spouses to work for the household, which they don't want. So they would like to go to factory or to the office.
But sir, some women have more like difficult menstrual.
So they can take leave. That's why I'm saying, if suppose we make it mandatory, don't you think it will be better?
So rather than making the menstrual leave mandatory, women workers can be given more sick leaves. So if someone is facing, they can only be using that provision over time, and others who don't want, then also they can leave. But that aspect of stigmatization doesn't come up.
Actually, नाम मत दीजिए, कोई भी नाम दीजिए. But if they are being given this right to exercise these leaves, so this will be good.
Yes, sir. Then it is definitely good. Just the way of giving.
Thank you very much, Vaibhav.
Thank you.
Please, sir.
Vaibhav, you are from Jharkhand.
Yes, sir.
What changes have you noticed in Jharkhand from 2000 till now, when the state was carved out?
So since 2000, there's a lot of development has definitely happened in the state. There has been a lot of work on the health parameters. Like when 2000 Jharkhand got divided, the MMR was above 200, which has been brought just around 103, which is the national average, around that rate. In education, sir, the work has been done. The literacy has risen from around 40% rate to now it is 66 in last census, and the NFHS says it is around 81%. So that progress has occurred. Along with, sir, that multiple cities like Bokaro, Dhanbad, Ranchi, Hazaribagh, all these have developed over time due to influx of people from around the area, and industrial development, like new projects have also happened.
What new projects?
So primarily related to thermal power, like in North Karanpura, an NTPC plant has been set up. New plants related, the Sindri fertilizer plant has been revitalized and now it is working. So in this way, development has been happening in the state.
But you will agree that the growth is not as fast as was thought of when the state was formed. Do you have a plan for Jharkhand for development? Quick development.
So for a quick development for Jharkhand at present, the need is firstly the agriculture sector has to be revitalized, because less than 11% of the GVA is still coming. So that has to be done, and for that irrigation is the primary need. That irrigation facilities through even bringing up the local ponds, that will be even that level. A lot of development can occur in that industry. Then, sir, the focus on service industry, because Jharkhand is still not developed the service industry. For example, eco resorts haven't come up, so that is a very good sector which can be looked. In that way, more employment can be given. And finally, sir, since a lot of people are still like youth is unemployed, focus on sectors like textile, which the government has been pushing recently. So, for example, Tassar silk development, like clothes are not made in the state, so that can be taken up.
Okay, you're talking about problems in getting land. Have you heard of Sri City? Sri City in Andhra Pradesh.
I'm sorry, sir. I've read the name but I have not.
A large number of multinational companies have gone. It's a special economic zone. Can we not have something like that in Jharkhand, where you acquire land, develop the land, provide all the infrastructure, the investors will come?
Sir, yes, a special economic zone can be helpful because of the large labor that is present, but that special economic zone has to be more focused towards industries and not service sector, because of the need, because there's lack of skilled labor at present in the state, and if again an influx of outsider comes in, it may create political issues over time. So we need, if an SEZ is coming up, it has to be more towards like manufacturing industries.
Okay. US is not prepared for a multipolar world. Should the global south come together to face America?
So the recent change in US policy, in which it is trying to bring about power in its own hand through Make America Great Again. So yes, definitely that multipolar aspect is there. They don't want that to happen. And for that, sir, the global south has to now come up together to not only like counter USA, but also to solve their own problems. Because if US aid is stopped, Ethiopia and other countries in Africa are suffering a lot of health issues. So if India can help them over time, that will be very beneficial. In that way, Global South now has the need to come together.
Okay. After America withdrew from WHO and the Paris Climate Agreement, there's talk of it coming out from World Bank also and IMF. What will be the impact on the rest of the world if they come out of both these organizations?
So US coming out of like World Bank and IMF, that will have more, I think, amplified impact, because the global order post 1991 in through these two agencies had been like pushed by US, wherein they pushed the new Washington consensus. So if they pull out, there will be a paradigm shift of how these bodies look into the like the development parameters across the
You
world.
mentioned New Washington Consensus. What is this?
So post Cold War ended, the New Washington Consensus was through these agencies across the world.
In 1989.
Yes, sir. Like they pushed the
Was
idea.
it called New, or was it only Washington Consensus?
I'm sorry, sir. It is the Washington Consensus.
Yes.
So it was that free market policies would be implemented across the world, and for that, whatever policy changes are needed, countries will have to make to ensure that they get loans through these agencies. So if that, so coming to the first question, now if US withdraws from these agencies, there will possibility of a positive working, wherein more collaborative working and not a unidimensional push towards one way of working will happen in these agencies.
They provide funds, not much to the World Bank, but to the IMF. Without funds, what can they do?
So without those funds, definitely there will be a fund crunch, and there will be ways to.
There will not be a fund crunch. Why?
So because over time, sir, then the China and other countries will come together.
Exactly. Thank you.
Well, Vaibhav, do you think there is a need to rationalize the GST slabs as they exist today? First, if there is a need, what should be the new tax structure of GST slabs?
So definitely, sir, GST needs a rationalization at present, because almost 75% of the collection is coming from above 18% and 28% GST rates, and the lower end isn't contributing that much. So we need rationalization, and the new rationalization could be done in terms of the like we can have now 3 levels, wherein the 5% can be let go at present. And since our average GST rate is around 12% right now, so those items at 12, 18 and 28% can be still be remaining as the levels of GST.
But what was the rationale of having 5 different slabs for GST? Which items were put in the 5% GST category, and which items were put on the 28% GST slab category?
So 5% GST rate was for those items that are for everyday use and directly affect the like the poor people. For example, wheat, rice, all those items, simple items of every daily use cases. And 28% was for demerit goods, like people consuming alcohol, cigarettes.
Alcohol is out of it.
I'm sorry, sir, not alcohol, like cigarettes.
Sin goods.
So
you are saying goods. Abolish 5% altogether. Will it not be putting more burden on the poor people? Because presently they are giving 5% GST. You are saying abolish 5% altogether. Is it in consonance with the social justice that we provide to the poor?
Sir, since 5% GST won't be there, the goods will be then cheaper for them. That is why I was saying
5% goods should be kept out of GST purview, or make 5% to 0%.
Yes, sir, it is zero rated.
So then the GST collection would come down.
But sir, the items in the 5%, they contribute less than around 8% of the total collection. That is why their impact wouldn't be that large.
Still it will come down.
Yes, sir, it will come down. But the rationalization will ensure that they will be like the.
What about 12% GST slab goods? What do we do with them?
So that slab can either be kept as 12%, or we can go for the GST neutral rate. That was at the time of GST 14.3%. So around that we can
Make it
keep.
more expensive.
Yes, sir, that can be. And other like if we go for GST neutral rate, it is said that then 18% should be removed and only 28% for the sin goods should
So
be kept.
28%, 12%, and 5% or 0. That's all. 2 slabs only.
3 slabs. So this is the other way, that
28% and
15%. Around 15.3 was the GST neutral rate. So,
so
15.
28 and 15%.
Yes, sir, and
Right.
0 rated.
But there are good number of items. See, the disposable income has increased.
Yes.
And this has been the objective of the government. That's why they have rationalized the income tax slab so that people have more disposable income. So people who could not afford the 28% GST items earlier are able to afford that now. So they are no longer a luxury items. So will it be appropriate to heavily tax them? Continue to heavily tax them? For example, air conditioners. It was a luxury item 20 years ago. Not so much. Now, eating out, restaurants, good number of people are eating out now. Should we continue to tax them higher? Because those items are not luxury items anymore. Think about it.
Sir, definitely that aspect is there. So we can rationalize the items in the 2 lists. For example, an AC above 2 ton, that is for a person maybe who's on the richer group may be able to afford. That is 28%, and those below 2 ton, that goes into the lower rate. In that way, we can rationalize the items across lists.
Okay, that actually is no yes or no answer to that, isn't it? You're already in IRS Customs and Central Excise. You are aware of the training format of Group A services. You are aware of that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All Group A services have to go for the foundational course, then they go for the professional course.
Yes.
Forget for a moment that this kind of training structure exists today. If you were to, because everybody says we need reforms in civil services. If you were to reform the training structure of Group A services in general and IAS in particular, what would be your recommendation? Just forget what it exists now. Give me out-of-box answer.
So may I take a moment?
And this is my last question anyway.
So, sir, for the reform in the administrative IAS training, what can be a step is that rather than taking longer time in the academy, like 6 months or time, the people who are, since the allocation happens very early for IAS for the state cadres for each individual, they can be within 2 to 3 months only, they can be zone wise sent to like the cadres. And for example, an individual who is, let's say, working in Bihar, he gets to work also in Jharkhand, so he can then look at the tribal issues at the same time, and then he also gets to work in North.
So you are saying that there should be more field exposure than the classroom forward.
Yes.
Very good suggestion, wonderful suggestion. Now, which components would you like to include? One, you said tribal,
yes, sir.
Sensitization of issues with the tribals, and other components you would like to introduce, which you would like to include in the training module of IAS officers.
So second can be in like when they go for village visits, that can be elongate, like the visit can be longer and more focus on bringing some type of a change. Like if a 3-month time is given, the work should be that they bring some type of a proper.
Okay, more exhaustive exposure to the village, rural area, and something else. Think about it. Government may ask you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Vaibhav, now. There has been news coming from South India. A political party has recently said that the delimitation exercise would be somewhat akin to a political coup. What do you make of this statement, and do you agree with this statement?
So firstly, I don't agree with the statement because delimitation is a general exercise which has to be conducted post census. However, there's this challenge definitely there that the sudden parties, because of the constant population, because of the constant TFR rate, may suffer losses in the number of seats in the Lok Sabha, and that through the delimitation exercise has to be ensured. And although parties are bringing up through dialogue this issue, it will also create some discussion around this topic so that their seats can be preserved vis-a-vis the northern states.
All right. Now, another thing that has been in news for last 3-4 days is one of the former Nobel laureates in economics has recently chosen, an assisted suicide, death by assisted suicide. What is your take on this particular issue? In fact, he's a very well-known person, Daniel Kahneman. Now, what is your particular take on this particular issue? That is it time in India with such large population of old age population that we are going to have in future? Should we allow for this?
So firstly, like India allows for passive euthanasia for people who are in a vegetative state, so they can be helped. And so firstly, with the changing paradigm, but with mental health issues rising up and old age people, although are not having the proper healthcare, this suggestion may hold. But I think on a personal level, active euthanasia or active death is not something we should consider, because it considering the mental health issues already in our country, there will be a very large portion which will take this step. And considering possible cultural effects on people of this step, I think it is not the right way for us. But passive euthanasia is definitely something that we should keep considering.
All right. Now, you were in IRS IT,
Yes.
and we were having previously a discussion on GST and rationalization of GST taxes. Now, incidentally, you suggested that we could change and tweak these tax rates. Related to it would be two concepts: tax elasticity and tax buoyancy. How are these two concepts related, and what do they talk about?
So firstly, tax buoyancy is the increase in tax collection with increase in GDP.
Okay.
And so I'm not recalling, I've read but I'm not able to recall elasticity properly at present.
All right. Now, with GST, there's also been an issue with when it comes to the state center commission and the finance commissions. Some states have argued that GST has robbed the fiscal agility of particular states. What do you take of this particular? What do you think of this particular statement? Has it been true that there has been a negative side of GST in terms of fiscal autonomy?
So just going for the autonomy aspect, yes, because GST Council, since it takes the decision, this individually states cannot change the rates. However, sir, the data shows that all states post 2017 have gained increased, like the collection of GST has increased. For example, in Jharkhand, now GST is the largest proponent of state owned revenue. So that shows that increase has happened. And for example, bigger states like Maharashtra is still the leaders in GST collection. But yes, there's the issue that smaller states like Bihar, Jharkhand, who have due to its destination based nature, have gained more when compared to like the earlier regime where the production was happening, there the collection.
My final question to you, since you have mentioned that you've done some kind of analytics work and data visualization, I must presume that you would have used Power BI or Tableau.
No, sir, I used to directly do on pandas on Python.
Okay, Python.
Yes,
so do you think with the agentic AI coming, this is the end of all these visualization tools?
So agentic AI will definitely make the task easier. Like if we want to bring a visualization, we can just type it and it will come up. However, sir, the issue still remains that deriving insights, like data mining aspect of visual, that will not be as good as someone who is himself doing, a person doing, because of two aspects. There's some privacy issues with the data in companies, and second, people are always able to bring about insights, for example, in tokenized data. AI wouldn't be able to understand, but a person who has understanding, he will be able to derive.
Right. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Vaibhav. So we had a very interesting conversation with you. Kindly step out for a minute. We'll call you back to
Thank you, sir.
feedback.